A little over 18 months ago, I decided to leave my career in medicine for good. I graduated with my doctorate, but did not pursue residency in any specialties, instead of making the leap to build my own health and fitness business. Here are some lessons I've learned since I've made that transition. Lesson 1 is the reality of healthcare systems. So after talking to some friends who are residents or attending physicians, I realized that the healthcare system has created a mental health crisis for the people that work in it. I'm sure you hear about underfunding or understaffing in healthcare, and it's easy to dismiss these as pretty abstract concepts. But let me tell you, the reality is far more intense than these words suggest. So in medical school, I noticed people sobbing under their masks, buckling under the frustration of a pager all day long, and just living in fear that a critical call for a patient could be missed. And in recent decades, unfortunately, it is often insurance companies running the show. A lot of people blame doctors for not doing their job, but in reality, they are often at the mercy of insurance companies. So there's literally some person without any science degree deciding what is warranted for a person's specific condition without even knowing them or seeing them in the first place. Hospital systems are hiring fewer people to maximize their profits, thus increasing the strain on individual workers. And with that, building a private practice and being an independent physician is harder than ever. So this level of stress and responsibility is what those seemingly benign words truly represent. It's a weight that many healthcare professionals carry every single day, and it's often unseen by the public eye. I've learned that sometimes walking away can be a form of advocacy, drawing some attention to these critical issues. So if any of you are struggling with a career you don't find purposeful, happy to be a resource for you. Lesson number 2, it's okay to prioritize your mental health. So one of the most crucial lessons I've learned that it's not just okay, but it is necessary to prioritize your mental health, especially working in healthcare. So as doctors, we're often conditioned to put everyone else's needs before our own, but I realize that this approach is very unsustainable and could also be potentially dangerous. I experienced burnout to the point of withdrawing from friends and family, guilty for experiencing happiness in my own life when some of my patients were suffering, and plenty of jealousy towards friends who had pretty normal lives with regular schedules, jobs, and routines. And a big reason I left was because I felt like a cog in a system. I put all this work and effort in something that I wasn't even sure was helping people and aligning with my own values. So I'd like to think of this all as like a full cup of water. We pour some of our water into our family, some of it into our relationships, hobbies, work, and at the end of it all, there is very little water left for us. So taking care of your mental and physical health is topping off of that cup, and as a result, you can pour just as much into all the other aspects of your life and also do a much better job at them. Taking care of yourself is topping off your water. And with that, prioritizing your mental health is not selfish, it's essential to provide quality care to other people. Lesson number 3 is that the sunk cost fallacy is real and very powerful. So leaving medicine allowed me to pursue my true passion, which was becoming my own boss and building a platform that helps people improve their lives through personal development, health, and fitness. So one of the biggest hurdles I faced when considering leaving medicine was the idea of throwing away years of hard work and dedication and a lot of money. This is known as the sunk cost fallacy, which is the tendency to continue an endeavor because of past investment, regardless of whether it's the best choice for the future. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I think about this concept all the time. I had to learn that past investment does not justify future and happiness. It's really never too late to change direction. There's plenty of people who have become successful later in life. Colonel Sanders opened up KFC at 62. Ray Kroc built McDonald's in his 50s. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison starting in his 40s before becoming president and being one of the most influential figures of the previous century. And with that, skills and experiences are never truly wasted. They can be applied to so many new and unexpected ways. I personally needed to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and 4 years of my life in medicine to be where I'm at now. Sounds really crazy, but very thankful for the experience. I learned a ton about how the world works, the human body, and how I can best serve people in my own business. It's really only a failure if you don't learn from it. Lesson 4, trust your gut. So throughout my time in medicine, I experienced what I now recognize as a strong resistance to many aspects of the job. This resistance manifested in various ways like overwhelming stress during shifts, dread before going to school in the morning, and that time off was only to be consumed by recovery and trying to detach from the experience. I literally had to listen to motivational speeches on the way to the hospital on the verge of tears. Not even kidding. Obviously, something was wrong. So I learned that these feelings are very important signals. If you're constantly experiencing strong negative emotions about your work or anything that you're doing, it's worth exploring why. You have instincts. They might be trying to tell you something important about your path. These can show up as unmanageable stress, burnout, and if you experience these, it might be time to evaluate small or even massive changes in your life. And I've learned that my gut and intuition have a powerful way of guiding me. I've applied that now to any decision I make, big or small. For example, moving from Chicago to Colorado was one where I trusted my gut. I knew I had to experience something different in life or I'd regret not ever trying. Lesson number 5, work-life balance revisited. So during my time as a medical student, I was living the normal life of a student on top of managing a business. The concept of work-life balance seemed like a distant dream. So I experienced the 40-hour work weeks on top of the 50-hour work weeks of school. There were plenty of irregular shift patterns that disrupted my sleep and personal life, and as a result, there was plenty of difficulty maintaining relationships due to sheer exhaustion and just lack of free time. So I learned something different than work-life balance that I want to share, and that is work-life harmony. And this comes from enjoying what you do. My work life enhances my personal life and vice versa, outside of just getting a paycheck. You can achieve this harmony by being present, having set tasks and goals. And for example, with my health and fitness coaching business, if I learn something about myself, how I operate, I can teach it to my clients. If one of my clients has a very specific issue, I can very easily apply the same learnings to my own life, my friends, family, and everyone else that I work with. Sounds harmonious, doesn't it? Good old lesson 6, your career doesn't define your worth. As doctors, we often tie our identity and self-worth to our profession. And many of my classmates did get into medicine for the prestige and or satisfying their parents. So for me, leaving medicine forced me to confront this belief head on. Now I'm just a guy who has a business and posts on the internet, which does sound a little less cool as being the guy studying medicine who has a business and posts on the internet. I've learned that your value as a person is not just determined by your job title. There are plenty of doctors who are not the best people, although they may be decent at their job, and there are plenty of people working a simple corporate job or own a shop on a corner that are having a massive impact on their community and love every minute of their day. It's important to experiment and try to find fulfillment and purpose outside of a career that you do not enjoy. It's like a video game. You can create your own destiny, I promise. What rings true for every career is that personal growth often requires stepping out of your comfort zone. Simply just do hard things. It will make literally everything in life a whole lot easier. For me, leaving medicine and thinking, oh snap, I did this is real, was quite the catalyst for growth. Lesson 7 is the power of seeking support. So one of the most important steps I took in my journey was just seeking help from other people. This came in various forms. I first tried reaching out and speaking to others who have left medicine. I probably watched every single YouTube video with that sort of headline. Not gonna lie. I spoke to other doctors about my feelings and experience, and surprisingly, I found a lot of people that resonated with my thoughts. Fast forward a little bit, that's when I started seeing a therapist, and she was incredibly helpful in organizing my thoughts and helping me make the best decision for myself, even though I know what it was in my gut. I learned that it's not a sign for weakness to ask for help. Literally everyone at the top levels of anything in life is getting help from a coach, a mentor, whoever it might be, and it's often the first step towards positive change. Moving forward, just try to stay vulnerable. If I have a problem or concern, I open up to my friends or family. Sometimes it's a little cathartic just to get it all out, but other times you'll get some useful advice as well. Lesson 8 is the importance of self-reflection. So throughout my journey, I've come to appreciate the value of self-reflection, and taking the time to really think about what I wanted for my career and life was crucial in making my own decision to leave medicine in the first place. I had a little conversation with myself. I asked questions like, what aspects of medicine do I truly enjoy? What were my core values? And was my current path aligned with them? And beyond that, could I see myself happy in this career 10, 20, 30 years down the line? I realized I enjoyed the intellectual challenge of medicine, loved learning about the human body, but wanted more autonomy, time freedom, and location freedom with my career. I didn't want to be doing the same procedure or running the same blood tests in 25 years. So I worked to build a life that would foster that. And this is the one thing I do with every single coaching client I take on. What have you tried in the past? What has and hasn't worked for you? What do you feel like you need to be successful with your goals? Sometimes just regular self-reflection can help you stay true to yourself and your goals even as they evolve. So every quarter, I try to do a little bit of a life audit and divide the categories into health, wealth, relationships, and self. And self is divided into like goals, hobbies, mindset, and spirituality. I'll evaluate what's going well, what isn't, and try to make the changes to give myself more value out of life. Lesson number 9, change is scary, but often necessary. So leaving a stable, respected career in medicine was probably the scariest decision I've ever made, truthfully. But I've learned that sometimes the most frightening challenges are the ones that we need the most. I've discovered that growth often lies outside of your comfort zone, and since I'm a lifter, I use lifting weights as a metaphor for life. When you start in the gym, you are very weak, very small, have no muscle. So as you challenge yourself by lifting heavier and heavier weights, you grow. And this applies to everywhere else in life. Embrace challenges, and while change can be scary, it can also be incredibly exciting and fulfilling. And truthfully, the fear of change is often worse than the change itself. You just get used to things. Our minds want to keep you comfortable, and lately I've applied this experience with getting into running, which I still hate and also find uncomfortable, but I think it makes me better because of it. You can do this with a cold plunge, meditation, prayer, or just having a difficult conversation that you've been putting off. Lesson 10, your skills are transferable. So one worry I had when leaving medicine was that my skills wouldn't be applicable anywhere else, besides just practicing medicine in the traditional sense. And I couldn't have been more wrong. I found that many of the skills that I developed as a doctor are highly valuable in other fields like communication skills, problem-solving abilities, empathy, emotional intelligence, and just the ability to work under pressure. And these skills have been pretty invaluable in my new career in coaching and personal development. And this can literally apply to whatever career you are in. So as a McDonald's cashier, you're learning patience, I'm sure, some communication skills, and some discipline. Take those skills and lessons and get after what you want. Lesson 11 is the value of health and well-being. So perhaps ironically, working in healthcare made me neglect my own health quite a bit. So since leaving, I've gained a new appreciation for regular sleep patterns, more time for hobbies and self-care, and the ability to eat meals in regular times, and even just having time to maintain and build relationships. I've learned these aren't luxuries, they are essential components of living a healthy, balanced life. And this kind of goes back to the full cup water analogy that I gave you earlier. Now on to lesson 12. Everything is a choice. So the lesson I want to end on is one of the most empowering realizations I've had. And it's that we always have a choice. Even if it feels like we're trapped, there are always options. Staying in a situation that makes you unhappy is also a choice. I'm sure you've heard those motivational quotes on social media. Getting in shape is hard, but so is being overweight. Building a business is hard, but so is staying in a mundane job you hate. We have more control over our lives than we often realize. Much of where you want to be in life hides behind a few decisions that you need to make. Making active choices, even difficult ones, can be incredibly empowering. But there is a caveat to this. I've also learned that fast decisions make for more success. Analysis paralysis can often lead to more damage than just picking something and just going with it. Mr. Jeff Bezos, whether you like him or not, talks about two different types of decisions. Type 1 decisions are not reversible, and you have to be very, very careful when you make them. Like mine not going to residency, although I can go back in the future, but it's a lot harder to get in. Type 2 decisions are like a door. If you don't like the decision, you could always go back. And the vast majority of decisions are type 2, so don't stress out too much when making them. You could always go back. So with that, leaving medicine was one of the most difficult decisions I've ever had to make, but also was the most rewarding. Taught me invaluable lessons about myself, my values, and what I want from life. If you're a healthcare professional struggling with similar issues, just know that you're not alone. I've spoken to so many people that feel the same way. It's okay to question your path, even if you're not in healthcare. It's okay to prioritize your well-being and make the changes necessary. Remember, your experiences in medicine or any other job are never wasted. They shape who you are and can inform whatever path you choose to take next. Whether you decide to stay in medicine or a job you don't like or explore other options, the most important thing is to be true to yourself and your values. And to those outside of the medical profession who are watching this, I hope this provides some insight into the challenges a lot of healthcare workers make, not just doctors, but also PAs, nurses, everyone in the system. Support for systemic changes in healthcare, I think, is crucial for the well-being of both medical professionals and, more importantly, the patients. So thank you for listening to my story. Whether you're considering a career change or simply curious about life after medicine, I hope these lessons resonate with you. If you have any questions on this, I'm always a message away on Instagram. Tend to reply fastest on there. And otherwise, remember, it's your life and you have the power to shape it. Thank you for watching, and I'll check you in the next video.